Live from Channel 2, Fair Go with Kevin Milne and Rosalie Nelson.
Hello there and welcome to the program. You know, we had no idea about New Idea until a sharp-eyed reader got in touch with Fair Go.
Puzzled? So are we. That story and a whole lot more tonight, including our special nomination for the worst ad of the decade.
Meantime, here's what else we've got for you.
Limos, the cost-effective alternative to travelling by train.
The city folk who are victims of the rural mail delivery row.
And frustration when the mail doesn't get through.
We kick off with one of those delightful little complaints that we hope embarrasses the hell out of someone behind a desk.
Remember when trains were the transport of the people, cheap tickets and all that? Well, there's one going fair that isn't a fair go.
It's the last day of the August holidays, right? And David Richardson's trying to give his kids a good time. But at the end of the holidays, they're starting to get a bit bored. So David thinks...
I know. I'll take them for an excursion on the train from Hastings to Napier and back. They've never been on the train before. What a great idea.
A 15-minute ride shouldn't cost much. Off to the Hastings Information Centre.
Yes, I wonder if you could give me the price of tickets from Hastings to Napier and return this afternoon on the train, please. 2 adults and 2 children.
Just one moment. Yes, adults are $13 each way. Children are $7 each way. Makes a total of $80 return trip.
$80? 80 bucks it was going to cost us. $80. I couldn't believe it. Just for a 15-minute trip to Hastings, to Napier and back. I mean, it'd be interesting to find out what the competition is.
80 bucks does seem quite a lot, doesn't it? What about a comparison with other ways of getting into Napier?
First, the intercity coach service.
That will be $64 for 2 adults and 2 children return.
OK, $80 by train, $64 by the intercity buses. What about the suburban buses?
Would be $12 for the adults, $8 for the children, so that's $20.
$80 by train, $20 by local bus. I wonder how much it'd cost to go by taxi.
Excuse me? I wonder if you could give me a price to take a family over to Napier and return this afternoon, please. 2 adults and 2 children.
Right, but how long are you going to be over there for?
About an hour.
About an hour. Right. The normal price is $30 each way, be 60. I'll take you over there and bring you back for 56, huh? How's that?
That's good.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's fine.
So remember, $80 by rail, but only $56 by taxi to take you and your family into Napier and back again. Not only that, they'll pick you up at home and drop you back at home. We've done a fairly extensive consumer test, David. What's been your reaction?
Well, to say the least, I'm astounded. In fact, it's been one of the most revealing exercises I've ever undertaken. I did have high hopes of taking the family on a very nice school holidays excursion to Napier, but now we won't be.
David, now that your wife Diane and all the family's here, there's one more comparison I'd like to make, because I think it's the most interesting comparison of all. Behind us.
You might want to shell out for a limo for a major social occasion, but only millionaire film stars use them for a trip downtown.
Is it room for us all? Yes.
It would, of course, be nonsense to consider them an everyday alternative to taking the train, or would it? If there's a group of you travelling between the Bay's 2 main cities, and the choice is train or stretch limo, you may as well go in style.
Well, this is better than rail, eh?
Oh, wonderful.
The amazing thing about this is that a stretch limo will pick you up in Hastings, take you into Napier, then back to Hastings again, and it'll only cost $5 more than to go by rail. Not only that, of course, these people will take you on a sightseeing tour on the way.
So, at the end of the day, the young Richardsons have done the stretch limo number, but they still haven't been on a train.
Just doesn't make sense. Why should the train cost more than the buses, taxis, and pretty much the same as a stretch limo?
Rosalie, I can honestly say that although I have struggled, I cannot come up with a satisfactory answer. The amazing thing is we've since found there was a $5 standby fare available through just one railways agent. Unfortunately, not the agent the Richardson spoke to. No other agent knew about it, including NZR's own reservation people.
We asked Peter Lawson of New Zealand Rail why the Hastings-Napier trip was so expensive.
Napier Hastings is a very short journey, Kevin, and throughout our network we have put a minimum fare in for short journeys. We're very much aimed at the long-distance quality end of the market these days, and we're not all things to all people for suburban travel, etc. on this network.
Isn't it better to have someone sitting on a seat that might have been empty anyway, even if they're paying a cheap fare?
In some circumstances it's desirable to try and attract that short excursion market, but across our network in general we would prefer to have people travelling long distance and try and target our service as quality long distance travel.
What's wrong with the standby fare, Hastings-Napier?
We don't want people turning up expecting cheap travel on a maybe basis, because it communicates to the market, turn up maybe, they can be disappointed. It positions rail at the cheap end of the market, not at the quality delivery of long distance travel.
OK, but we've just found out you've been permitting one of your agents to sell $5 standby fares, and none of your other booking people know anything about it.
Yes, that's an issue which I've only just recently been aware of, but it's really a case of best intentions but not the best delivery of introducing that. It was done at the request of the agents at Napier Station and Hastings Station for families turning up on the day if there were seats available.
A major problem in that no one could find out that this fare existed unless you're in the know.
It was a deliberate decision by our operations people to make that a on-the-day standby only, not communicated through the reservation system. But it does perhaps draw attention that there might be an opportunity longer term for us between Napier and Hastings because of their close proximity.
Are you going to keep up that $5 fare then?
I think we'll have to revisit how it's distributed and the price itself and the whole package. But there may be an opportunity long term to do something there.
Well, that's laying it on the line. Clearly a definite maybe. Good news for the Richardsons though. New Zealand Rail have given us complimentary tickets so they can make the trip to Napier and back at a later date.
After the break, strange